Hi, welcome to the Beating. Um, yeah, I'm dressed in sports gear today because I am missing sports that much. Guys, I don't even know what day it is of our lockdown. I'm not even counting because I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. Even though technically they say we've got less than 2 weeks left, I don't see that happening. With our flu season coming, with winter coming in the southern hemisphere, yeah, our turn is on the way that Europe has gone through. So positive vibes though. We're gonna keep believing and pushing, and an outcome will come, and this thing will pass. Uh, Enough about that though. Why I am dressed in my sports gear? I'm channeling happy thoughts, and I'm also gonna go work out in between making what I'm making today. I've got a gym in my home, which I luckily built before the whole lockdown began. And it's been helping me out. I've actually lost weight during the lockdown. I've been trying to eat well. I've been trying to keep myself busy. I've been playing with my puppy outside. I've been trying to keep my body active, which has helped. It also helps with the mental state, and it can be depressing being indoors. Which brings me to the comfort. We are making comfort food today. I've had my blog for maybe 8 years now, I think. 8, 9 years. And every year, the number one recipe, without fail, no matter how many other recipes I put on my blog, is this one that we are doing today, the recipe for Magwinya. How to make Magwinya. Magwinya are different to your typical fit cook. Fit cook tend to be more savory, they tend to be more dense as well. The more bread-like fit cook. Whereas Magwinya tend to be lighter and more sweet. That is why when people say fit cook, when they refer to Magwinya, I try and say they're not actually the same thing. Um, yeah, there is slight differences, but they're made the exact same way. It's just that with fit cook, it's more of a bread type texture to the dough. That's why you will sometimes get fit cooked, which have been cut into cubes and actually deep fried that way, because it's such a dense bread-like dough that you can actually cut it up. The Magwinya I'm making though are the township variety, which everyone has been going crazy. Yo, it's like everyone has eaten either banana bread, or they've eaten lidombolo, or they've eaten Magwinya during this lockdown and made khemere. Um, it is weird how everyone is doing the same things. But those are all budget things that can be done at home, so it makes sense. And it's also nostalgia. People are remembering their childhood and remembering back home and channeling that, which is self care. We have to during these times that we're in. Anyway, I digress. Back to my queen. The trick is to knead the dough well. You need to get that gluten going. I'm using a cake flour, which I found by mistake. I couldn't find flour anywhere in the south. I found flour in one of my containers while I was trying to pack things. And I was like, there's a gold in my house, and I didn't even know about it. Yeah, flour's been very scarce. I've been looking for flour for the past 2 weeks. And yeah, I was shocked when I found it in one of my containers. It's only 500 grams, so I'm only going to make a 500-gram recipe today. But I'm only one person, so I don't need to be making kilograms of magwinya. And it's also easier to demonstrate with a smaller batch than a big amount of dough. So also yourself, start off with a small amount to get that action going, get it right, and then you can move up into making more higher grade type of deep fried foods. It is a deep fried bread. It's not. Yeah, it is because it's yeast and it's flour. Um, but anyway, there's nothing to it. I'll talk you through how everything is. All you need is flour, yeast, sugar, oil for deep frying, and water. That's all you need to make magwinya, and salt, of course. Salt for seasoning. Hope you learn something. Yeah, the thing is, people are asking me how you get them round. I'll be demonstrating that as well. There's nothing really chefy for me to add, nothing really technical. It's my yeah, guys. But yeah, you'd be surprised how many people don't know how to make them well. So this is how I make them. This recipe is also in my book, but it's also on my blog, it's on my Twitter, it's everywhere. I've shared it so many times, but I'll post it underneath here as well in the description of this video. Cool. Okay, these are the things you are going to need. Over here we have granulated sugar. This is 2 tablespoons. You can use brown sugar, but just be aware that brown sugar will change the color of your magwinya, and brown sugar takes a bit longer to dissolve. Okay, so it might need you to let your dough proof for a bit longer. You can also replace this with honey. That'll also change the color of your magwinya, but honey will also work. Okay. This over here is 5 grams of yeast, instant yeast. This over here is simple salt. I'm going to put just a pinch of salt in there. Okay, I'm not going to use all of this. Please don't do that. Just for a pinch of salt. Salt is a regulator of yeast. So even if you don't want salty magwinya, you put a pinch or 2 of salt. That regulates how fast the dough rises. And this is just normal cake flour, 450 grams. And then here I have water. I boiled half of it, and then I topped half of it up with room temperature water. So this water is probably at lukewarm, a little bit above lukewarm, because it's a cold day today in Johannesburg. I'm using water that's slightly warmer than normal, but do not ever use boiling water. Boiling water will kill your yeast. Yeast is a living organism that gets killed by hot temperatures. Okay, so let me run through them again. We've got 2 tablespoons of sugar. We've got 5 grams of yeast. We're going to put a pinch of salt. This is 450 grams of flour, cake flour. And over here, it's just water. I'm not measuring it out. You go by look and feel of your dough. You'll see now as I run through the process. Okay, so what you're going to do is just put everything into your bowl. Start out with your flour, and then you make a well in the middle of it, and then bring in your yeast. Oops, sorry about that. Bring in your yeast into the middle of that. This actually is my sugar. As I was talking, I realized, just taste it now just to make sure. You can halve the sugar if you want. You don't have to use all of it. And this is the salt. I'm going to put about 2 pinches of salt in there. And now this is the part that is important. Okay, you've got everything together. Just mix it up well. Get in there. You can use a spoon for this, but I prefer, whenever I work any dough recipes, I prefer using my hands, unless I'm using my stand mixer. Okay, now you've got everything mixed up. This ensures that the yeast is evenly distributed. And then you make a well in the middle. Okay, I'd say that's about a cup of water. Just mix it in there. Get in there. It looks like it's going to need more water, so I'm going to add in, that is about another cup. So it's all about feel when it comes to working bread doughs. Even though recipes will tell you roughly how much water you need to add, always remember that flour is also it depends on the temperature of the room. It depends on the moisture in the air, and every flour is slightly different. You never get 2 flours that are the same. So don't always go with what the recipe says you should do, for especially a bread dough. For cake doughs it's different. For bread doughs you can, okay, I'd say that's probably about 1/3 of a cup of water. See, now it's getting there. This is what I want, or what you should also be looking for, this kind of texture. You just bring it together. It must be moist. It shouldn't be too soft, but it shouldn't be too dry either. Okay, so just keep mixing it together until it becomes smoother. I'm using one hand because the bowl keeps moving. If there's someone else in the kitchen with you, get them to hold the bowl, then you can use both hands. But yeah. Okay, now we're going to stop and I'm going to knead on my You want to initially just stretch the dough out. It will stick in the beginning and it will be messy in the beginning. You'll see I'm stretching and folding, stretching and folding. Stretch, fold, stretch, fold, stretch, fold, stretch, fold. So stretch and fold, stretch and fold, stretch and fold. To test if your oil is ready, you grab a piece of dough from your dough and you drop it in. And that is what you want. You want it to start bubbling to the top. That means the oil is ready. So what you do is grab some dough, you put oil between your hands and you roll the dough until it forms a ball. And you drop it into the oil. Same process. Grab similar sized piece of dough, you roll it around your hands. The more you roll it, the rounder the ball will become. You just want tension on the outside. And you drop it in. Fold it onto itself. You want tension on the outside of the skin, like so, and then you fold it on itself, then you roll it into a ball. See that? Then into the oil.